What's up guys, it's Cole with EMF here. Today we're going to specifically look at installing the chain tensioner delete bracket that we get from Det Fab. So let's jump into it. Alright, so we did get this package in today. I took it out of the first package and this is the second packaging. So we'll kind of just throw this out so you guys can expect what to see from this. We got our brackets, and then you're going to get some hardware depending on what bracket you get for what bike is different hardware, I believe. So make sure and choose what bike you're using the bracket for accordingly when you're picking this out on the website. Now, because we have a few different options of motors and a few different things I might be changing it through, they were kind enough to send us out a few different kinds of bolts so that we could have this set up. So thanks to them. Thank you, Det Fab. I appreciate you guys and what you're doing. Let's go ahead and try to get these opened up and we'll start figuring out what to throw them on. Now this is nicely packaged so that those weren't rubbing, couldn't get scratched at all. Amazing packaging, love that. There's a few different finish options you can pick. If you want to paint yourself, I think, steely or black. So these look very nice. I'm pretty impressed. I'm actually super excited to get these on. Alright, we can see that we have two different styles here with the little extension being different sizes for this bracket. Now, from my understanding, this is going to fit on more of our SX styles, which is also the Indian, but the MX styles are a different swing arm where we have different attachments for the pivot point on the rear suspension. So this allows us more room to pivot in those SX styles rather than the MX or the RSF that these shorter ones are for, where we can't roll it up. They say that these, I believe, will work, but it just has extra bracket hanging out and doesn't look as clean as this kind of being maxed out for those style models. So something to note when you're seeing the different options there. And of course, when messing with our sprocket or chain with our fingers, we always want to make sure first thing is that bike's turned off. Alright guys, so taking a look over here, getting started, we can see we have our number 35 EMF chain size sprocket here, and this is a full setup you can get, but anyway, we have to go ahead and delete this chain tensioner. So we're going to go ahead and get this chain tensioner taken off. I specifically am going to just undo my chain here so I can pull that through the chain tensioner and just take that off completely. Alright, so we have this guy. We're going to go ahead and take that nut out. Get that pulled out. We'll get this pulled off. I recommend take this stuff somewhere, put it in the bag, label it, and put it somewhere safe just in case. So of course, get your motor unbolted here. Alright, so guys, just so you can understand real quick the concept of this, which I was mind blown by, this is just tilting up and gonna tighten our chain just like that. So just by that pivot point, and then we'll tighten it on that bracket on the back side. And yeah, I think it's absolutely genius. When I realized it, I was like, oh my gosh. I saw one of my buddies with it out on a ride. He was like, dude, this thing's awesome, check them out. So guys, these are going to be compatible with, I think, all of the Razor 500/650 models, along with all kinds of different motors for Razors, my 1020 size. So pretty awesome. Make sure and fill it out correctly because the bolts are going to be different, I think, for what you get for what setup. Alright, so we dropped the motor out here and we can see that we do have our space open. I think we just want to have this space open working, so we'll go ahead and mount this bracket. So we have these tiny thin headed little screws, and I think maybe if I pop that guy through there, that's the ticket. And then I believe our bracket's gonna go on in here. So we'll kind of just line that up and go ahead and screw that on, I do believe. So I think they do recommend Loctite. I am not doing it right now because I might move these around tomorrow because of the nature of my life. Alright, so we have that locked on there. I don't think we want to over tighten that, just get her nice snugged up. Again, Loctite if it's good stay. They have good recommendations of think of what they do. Alright, we got one in. Now guys, as always, they stated on their website, and I try to remind you on videos, always make sure you're using the right size bolts and they're not too long. They will go into the motor and can harm it. So I think we slip this on through here, and we'll get that thread started. Alright, so we can see we're gonna get these little washers depending on when you're watching this video and where they're at, but right now we just have that these little washers are gonna be your spacers between your bracket. So if you can use this one is a little bit thicker and is a better perfect fit. But sometimes you need to get the motor just a hair lower, so this one is kind of getting you that just a little bit, because a little is a lot in this scenario. So, alright, so coming around to this side, we'll go ahead and get our chain looped back on here, and then we will tighten that up. Alright, we line those up. We'll pop that little guy in from the back. Once again, we pop this over. Alright, on that master link, again, we always want this guy to be going through the motor. So think your chain's going this way. You want this guy facing into it and going around so it doesn't get knocked off. Oh, I like that. Pretty close to where I want it. I might give it a little hair more and we'll lock her down. Alright, there was the movement right there. We slid up. Hopefully you guys saw that. I'm feeling good. Alright, I'm going to crank that down. I don't want to go too much. We'll see how this holds up, because obviously she's taking some torque, but they say it's holding up well with the FW11, which is a crazy powerful motor. Alright guys, so there it is. We of course got her on there. She's feeling pretty tight. I think I'm going to take her for a whip. Now the next move is a welded freewheel. This still has the typical freewheel, so it kind of locks up weird. That was much more responsive that way for sure though. So we got the bracket on here, tightened down. I mean, I weigh like 200 pounds, so I'm all toes on that motor right now. I would say I got about at least 180 on there of my weight, and it doesn't budge a bit. Still the same chain tension that we left it at, so I'm actually like incredibly impressed. I just had to show you guys. I was stepping on it just to see myself and see all in there. So yeah, pretty impressive. My mind's blown. Absolutely genius. Alright, I gotta say that thing's actually pretty sweet. It feels like a different ride, more like a dirt bike, honestly, but we'll see how it holds up through time, and we will get it on some other bikes. We'll check out the other install, and catch y'all later. Thank you, Det Fab.